Hi, good morning. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Anthony Sassin. I'm the CEO of Nukoud, but also the CEO of Ocean Global. So Nukoud is a publication related to ETFs in the region. You may have seen emails coming from Nukoud about the ETF industry in general and tracking kind of promoting the local GCC market. We work closely with ADX, so thank you for all the brokers who joined us today. We really appreciate your presence and your partnership. I'm also the CEO of Ocean Invest. So Ocean is a market making company that we started almost a year ago. So just by way of background, many of you know me. I used to work for CraneShares, and for the past 3, 4 years, I've been trying to list CraneShares ETFs here. But then a year ago, we decided to start market making to help the ETF ecosystem. Ocean Invest is let me just share a couple of slides here just for you. Is a market maker backed by GTS Securities. I don't know if you guys are familiar by GTS. GTS is one of the major market makers in the US, top four, top five after Jane Street, Citadel. So they're invested in this company, and the goal here is to promote ETFs and to grow the ETF industry in the GCC. We were behind the two big cross listings that happened in December for CraneShares, which is KWeb and Carbon, and KWeb, the China Internet Fund, $8-9 billion, Carbon, the first carbon credit fund. And then now we were behind AGIX, which is another very interesting fund that we're going to talk about today, which is the AI fund. Our team is comprised of traders and ETF professionals from the US, from Europe, and from the UAE. We are very focused on ETFs and also, growing the ETF ecosystem here, focused on market making, AP, capital markets, portfolio management. So that's a little bit on Ocean. I want to introduce now Max Chen. Max, I don't, sorry, I think he may have dropped off to discuss. He'll probably join us in a second. So I want to introduce Max here. Max is a portfolio manager with CraneShares and Etna Labs. They manage this fund that we just launched last week, which is an AI fund, AGIX. So basically, what's cool about AGIX, it's the fund can invest in private and public AI companies, and it's ran by Max, who's a veteran in the AI space. He will tell you about his career, but he started with Sequoia and has a big deep network in the AI space, especially in China. There he is. And Max and Etna Labs teamed up with CraneShares to bring forward the AGIX ETF. I'll pass it to Max to kind of discuss his background and the fund.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Anthony. And thanks for everyone for coming. Sorry about the internet connection. I'm in Japan right now. So we are doing a roadshow in Japanese market, targeting the local investors. But yeah, we launched AGX together with CraneShares almost 2 years ago. And back then, we were mostly investing in the private markets. And I think, we see the market moves ahead of the curve. And then we have built strong conviction on, how AI will revolutionize every industry down the road. So, but the big part of that, AI alpha is in the private side of things. So like, in 1999, you could invest in Amazon and, you could participate in the growth of the Amazon. But right now, normally, it takes companies 17 years to be IPO. So the company is staying private for longer. There's no way that, the investors participate in the public market, enjoying the liquidity, but at the same time missing the alpha that brought by those, growth stage companies in the private side. So that's the origin story of us starting the AGX ETF. It's a hybrid ETF mixed by, public market, portfolios and also private names. Notably, right now we have Anthropic and SpaceX in our private part, and down the road we are going to grow more names into the ETF, aiming to offer the holistic exposure in the AI growth story to the investors. So regarding my background, I used to work at Sequoia, so that's why, and it brought my interest to the AI revolution. And then, after Sequoia, I joined Ping An Asset Management, which is, insurance background asset management in Asia. And since then we have been, exploring the opportunities in the private market, especially the, global AI scene. 2, 3 years ago, like I said, we identified that AI will be the next revolution, and we swiftly participated in Anthropic in early stage and XAI, Perplexity of the world, and then we started this AGX ETF together with CoinShares to offer the AI exposure to the investors. I think these are like very standardized slides. Then I will go briefly and talking mainly about what has changed since we have produced the ETF. I think this slide mainly tells us about how big of a AI revolution it will be compared with the previous paradigms. We have like mainframe, PC, server, and cloud mobile. But we believe that AI right now is going to be the 2x, 10x bigger than the previous tech waves combined because it's going to be penetrating every industry, not only in the digital world but also in the physical world, right? Because like previously, if you are investing in the cloud mobile stage, I think you probably have already been getting a lot of value out of Google, Microsoft, Amazon of the world, but they are mostly operating in the digital world. But right now, you have already seen that Anthropic releasing models disrupting the traditional software businesses, and it is just starting, right? So 2, 3 years ago, you have seen the models being able to chat with you and search the internet. And last year, especially with all those agentic capabilities, the model have learned how to use tools. And with those tools, it's starting to perform tasks such as create a cash flow, model in Excel, or create a PowerPoint presentation using PowerPoint. So all those softwares nowadays used by human beings is able to be used by AI agents very soon. So that means the velocity of our work in the digital world will be accelerated, and there will be tens of thousands of agents working for human beings or alongside with human beings. So in some sense, that's like creating a whole new, population that have been, working for human beings. So in that sense, if you are creating, like Jensen Huang have been saying, data center, full of geniuses, then, you are creating a lot of GDP for sure. And going forward, not only digital world is going to be revolutionized by AI, physical world also, right? So right now you have seen, companies like Physical Intelligence, Generalist, even NVIDIA themselves are releasing, robotic foundation models. And those models will be powering a lot of robots down the road around the world. And not only they will be operating in the factories, in service jobs like a restaurant, like a washing shop, they'll also be being used in the critical infrastructures, like in the space or in those data centers. I think those revolution will bring much more impact on our GDP and economy overall. So that's the size of the whole opportunity. That's the size of the growth that we are aiming to capture with our product with Ajax, right? So I think then the natural question would be how do I participate in this AI revolution? There are several ways. Obviously, you can participate using the compute. Like if you invest in NVIDIA world, everything inside the data center is gonna be huge return for you for the past 2, 3 years. And even today, even this year, the first several months, if you invest in memory chips or photonics chips, I think all of those will be bring you good alpha returns. And the second way to participate is through, AI infrastructure. I mean, if you look at the market, what's going on is a lot of those models are gaining a lot of attraction and focus, but the companies that are benefiting most are the cloud companies, right? So without like AWS, without like Google Cloud, the models cannot run, on itself, and the model companies cannot build their own data centers yet, right? So all those cloud companies will be a natural winner alongside with those, cloud with those model companies. And the third basket would be AI applications. So you will see, a lot of those software companies. I mean, it will be very, a debated topic because in the first several months of this year, a lot of those softwares are considered AI losers, right? But if you think deeper, then right now those softwares are used by human beings, and in the future, those software will be used by AI agents. Although some people claim that, oh, you can one shot prompt the model to give you your own version of Salesforce, but the reliability of that software is no way near to the level that we needed in the production, right? So the more plausible future is that AI agents are going to use all those softwares, and their seats will grow tremendously. And maybe it's their business model also changes from like seat-based business to usage-based business, and then the TAM, the total addressable market for those softwares will be tremendously higher than where they are today. So that's why we also consider AI applications right now, some software companies, but in the future, there will be very AI native software companies and also like AI, robotic and all, industries will be use AI, and we will identify all those AI winners in this basket. So basically that's how we see, the whole value chain goes, and that's how we allocate, our public part of the ETF. And
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, Max. Thank you. So basically, as you can see here, that Max is a veteran in this space, very well connected to all the different aspects of AI, and is able to find the right time for the right industry. At some point in time, you see sometimes semiconductors moving higher. At the other time, you see the different sectors like infrastructure or software, and Max is able to do that. So just so you know, guys, this is a cross-listed fund from New York. Okay, so basically, what we've been doing is we've been doing a lot of cross listings. What that means is this fund is listed in New York Stock Exchange, is trading exactly here, same ISIN, same everything, on the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange in AED, right? And these can be accessed through your platforms. And so basically, these shares are fungible, fully fungible with Ocean. We're able to move the shares from here to the US. So basically, you're getting the benefits of of the deep liquidity and the IP process in the US. Please feel free to ask questions on the chat. We'll ask Max. Max has wealth of knowledge in this space, knows a lot about all these companies, and I'm sure he's gonna in a second talk more about all these companies and especially the allocation that he has in SpaceX and Entropic, right? Which is key here for this fund. So basically, you're able to access private markets just through ADX, which is amazing. And I think there are plans also probably to add more private companies into this. So we're very excited about this offering on the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange, especially for local investors, especially for the brokers as well, where you're able to offer really products that are very cool and at the forefront of innovation, right? Next week, we're launching Kwin. If you may have received an IOP notification for Kwin, which is the first option income-based Sharia compliant fund. The fund is paying 4 to 5% in income. We just concluded the IOP last night, and then the fund will be launching on the 30th. So now we have four very differentiated fund trading on ADX. KWEB, which is the China Internet Fund, the Alibabas, the Tencents, all the China AI and e-commerce and technology. It's an $8-9 billion fund, the biggest China fund in the world, trading today. You can buy it just now on ADX in AAD, and two is Carbon KRBN, which is the first carbon credits fund that includes Europe, California, Reggie. It invests in the credits. So basically, these credits are set by the government, right? Not these are not voluntary. These are compliance by the government. So what that means is it's like a tax almost. So the government will keep tightening supply. What that means, these credits are going to increase in price over time. And Ajax that launched last week, and then Kwin launching next week. Here's Max. He's back with us. So Max, yeah, back to you. Just kind of talk about the fund and look. What's one of the biggest attractions of the fund is your ability to invest in private markets, right? Can you tell us a little bit how that works and kind of the how do you mark to market and be able to manage these allocations? I believe based on the 40 Act in the US, you have a limit of 15-20% that you can have in private companies. Max, you heard me?
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Max. Yeah, okay,
Sorry,
good.
sorry. I think my internet is not so good. What was the question just now?
The question is, you can talk about, so this, what's interesting about the fund is your ability to invest in SpaceX and Anthropic. And,
Yeah,
based on 40 Act, you're able to go at least to 15-20%. So how does
yes.
that process work? Are you looking to add more?
Yeah,
How does
yeah,
mark to
yeah.
market, etc.?
Yeah, let me talk about the private part. I believe that's the part where, stands out in terms of offering the alpha, true alpha, So right now we are, including Anthropic and SpaceX, and we value them every day. We have a very like committed valuation committee, and we are incorporating data points from, both the secondary transaction price, which is very active comparing with like 5 years ago, what's going on the private side of things. I think right now, if you want to sell Anthropic or SpaceX, you can sell it tomorrow. There are very active, secondary transaction market going on, and the private market liquidity becomes much, much better, right? So, and then we have all those, secondary transaction price points that we will incorporate based on what we see on the market, and also the last round valuation of those companies. For example, Anthropic traded like last round valuation was 380 billion, but recently they are trading like about 500 billion. So we incorporate all those two data points together to have a better price discovery in Anthropic Holdings, so that the previous investors who have already invested in AJX will also enjoy the momentum for those private names, because down the road Anthropic is definitely going to raise another round, and that information is going to be reflected in those secondary transaction price. So that's the way how we value all those private companies. And for the pipelines, I mean, we are always aiming for the diversified portfolio. We don't want to be considered as a proxy, or for Anthropic or SpaceX, we are going to add more high quality names, including the three directions that I just mentioned: physical AI, which will be the largest industry down the road. We aim to add some of the robotics foundation models in our ETF very soon, and the AI infrastructure for future agents, including financial infrastructure. We are going to add some of those like prediction market shares in our ETF as well. And also we are aiming for adding like more AI for science, because we believe that will be the crown jewel of all those AI efforts down the road. So we maintain a highly diversified portfolio and highly high quality names, so that we can ensure that we are we are gaining the growth of AI, and also the beta of AI, without losing the liquidity that we aim to achieve.
Great. And let's talk a little bit about the sectors and the names. So where are we now in the semiconductor space, or with TSMC and Nvidia and some of these guys that have made so much money over the past few years from selling and packaging and doing all the things they do for GPUs that are used in AI. Where are we in the cycle for these companies? And I believe it is still a long term. This is a long term growth story.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think the logic behind all those hardware or semiconductor companies is because the atoms always move slower than the bits, right? So if you look at the token consumption number released by Google or some other AI companies or even open router, you see we are accelerating right now. We are consuming more and more tokens on a daily basis. It's really hockey stick a line that you are seeing, right? So all of those token consumptions will put a lot of pressure on the chip side. We are in shortage of data centers. We are in shortage of, electricity. We're in shortage of acceleration chips. We're in shortage of memory chips and photonics chips. Everything go inside that data center is in shortage. It's a structural pressure, driven by demand in tokens, right? So I think that will be the main force that pushing all those earnings of SK Hynix, Samsung, Nvidia, TSMC of the world keep going, right? So we are still seeing the momentum very strong, and we will keep the allocation and exposure in the semiconductor in a big way. At the same time, we are also recognizing there are some new trends, right? So like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, GPU is considered as a loser in the AI revolution. But right now, the story changed. The CPU is in shortage as well because of all the inference workloads that those AI agents are going to have. And in the 2, 3 years ago, all those acceleration chips were racks inside the data center are connected by copper. Copper. But right now, I think NVIDIA and also the market leaders, including TPUs, are considering like optical solutions or photonics to replace those copper. I think those are the choking points of current AI build out. So that's where we see the whole market goes, and we are proactively allocating our portfolio into those themes.
Yeah, yeah, because some people think, this has rallied for a couple of years. But if you think about the first tech revolution we've seen through Facebook and Amazon, these guys are still rallying today, right? Like still generating performance. So we're still in the very beginning stages of the AI stages. So what's going on with some of these companies we hear in the news? Palantir, as Anthropic as well was in the news due to the participation with defense and some noise from the Pentagon.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the second bucket, right? So for AI infrastructure, like I said, in the future, there will be AI agents using all those softwares instead of human beings. So we look at the cloud companies definitely as a core infrastructure in our holdings. All those, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, AWS, they will be the power horse, to have those models to run on them. I think that's on the cloud side of things, and there will be data infrastructure as well. So you will see Datadog and Snowflake, and soon Databricks, if they being IPO'd or being included in our private part, will power all those AI agents, because the more AI agents that you have, the more data that you will create. And the speed of AI agents using and calling all those tools and calling all those data is much, much faster. So the data infrastructure will be another choking points very soon. And the Palantir of the world, I think they have the ambition not only on the military side of things, but they are also operating using their own technology called anthology. So that is basically a digital twin for the physical world, right? So no matter how you operate, you are a manufacturing industry company and you have your factories very digitalized and also together with your workflow softwares. And then using Palantir technology, you could optimize the whole workflow in digesting all those information, inside your workflow and to perfect that, to increase the efficiency and manage the supply chain, every risk that relates to your business. I think that's the ultimate ambition of Palantir, and we'll definitely see more of those companies offering the so you can call it like very AI native infrastructure that empower all those AI agents to perform extremely well comparing with
Ju-
human beings.
Just out of curiosity, how did it help during the war? We saw the Trump tweet. How did the military use that during the war?
Yeah, that's beyond my knowledge actually, but you could
Okay,
definitely see they
it's
getting a lot
classified.
of contact afterwards, right?
Interesting. Okay, and then so I guess the next leg is AI application, right? So
Yeah.
that's where things are heading, where all these AI engines and capabilities are being incorporated into our applications, to our daily life, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
in these companies. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can briefly, like, roughly characterize AI application into two sectors. One sector is software companies, another sector is industry applications, right? So for software companies, like I said, Salesforce of the world, recently they are going through some kind of a revolution of themselves, right? So before they are selling softwares, it's a a system of record that human beings are basically using them as a database, as a tool to to empower their sales process. But in the future, they definitely will be transformed into an AI native company, and they are launching their agent force. Then in the future, you are no longer using those softwares, you are buying the services, right? So you can buy AI sales from Salesforce, and then the AI sales will work for you. And for SME, you only are able to hire like 5, 10 people before. Right now, you are empowered by like 1,000 agents that working for you, and they will charge you based on outcome based, not the usage based, business model. I think that will be another level or another stage of those software companies. Before it is like seed based, and then you will become usage based, and ultimately you become outcome based, right? So how much sales have you really done, to your businesses, and then they'll be get a cut out of that. I think that will be the ultimate, business model for those software companies instead of selling, the seats. And we identify those companies by looking at their strategy, looking at their product launch, looking at the talks from their, CEOs, senior level executives, and to understand their strategy, how AI native they are, and are they able or are they ready to revolutionize themselves. So that's how we pick all those, good AI software companies. And another category will be industry applications, right? So for 10% of the world, they use AI to actually to empower that specific industry for AI, like AI for material discovery or AI for drug discovery, or any company that just use AI extremely well, and those company will be dominating the market and having more and more like market share, grabbing from their competitors. So I think that category we haven't seen very like many companies yet, but I believe those companies will show up very soon. So we'll keep a close eye on the market and include all those AI winners, very AI native players in different industries in this AI application basket.
Okay. And let's talk about performance of the fund. I think, from what I understand, it's been outperforming Nasdaq and some of the other funds. And having private companies there that are raising money and value, raising their valuation frequently, definitely helps.
Yeah, yeah. I think the performance is there's two part of alpha. One part of the alpha is how good we are in picking the public stocks. So on that part, we are delivering good returns compared with QQQ, because we've always seen like QQQ is our model. Because it has been delivering 18% annualized return for the past 10 years, which is difficult because it beats a lot of active managed funds or mutual fund or hedge fund even. But why they can do that is because they are market cap weighting, and it's the nature of the technology index because you keep rewarding the market winners, right? So we incorporate that methodology and also together with our very AI native score system that we, put those together, blend together, and it comes down to the weighting of our, public portfolios. So on that, since inception, we have been outperformed QQQ by like 15%. So that's on the public side of the alpha. The private side clearly is also driving a lot of alpha, right? So we have Anthropic and SpaceX. We put in Anthropic at 60 billion valuation, and right now they are trading on the secondary market of 800 billion or so. And
Uh,
SpaceX before it was XAI, and it also delivered like 2x, 3x return since we bought them in the ETF. So I assume that will happen for a lot of those private names down the road because if you look at their revenue grows. You seldomly found any company in the history that grows so fast is because how powerful this AI technology is, right? So I think we will be able to find more companies in the private that will generate a lot of alpha, like alphas like Anthropic and like SpaceX have been generating.
Amazing. Cool. So that's really a great overview, Max, of the fund. It has great model to kind of invest in companies that are participating in the AI story. You can do public and private, and as we can see, performance is kind of doing well. So we're excited to bring this fund to the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange. And I think this is available now here, and we're working as a company at Ocean to continue to bring more funds to be listed here because we think having being listed here is an essential part of being part of this investing community that where investors can access you right here in the local time zone in local currency rather than just in US or Europe. And I included my contact information in the chat for all the brokers. So we're Ocean, we're happy to work with you on ETF trades and just kind of collaborate in any way we can. We'll be doing a lot more of these webinars and trying to engage local investors here through Nukoud and through Ocean. So please feel free to email me and or to call me to talk about any kind of collaboration with you. And look, if you have any questions for Max, this is your time to ask. AI is a very hot space, and Max is an expert here, so take advantage. Max, what's happening with SpaceX? So they just now filed for an IPO. We're seeing different valuations. One of them is 1.75 trillion, but the last valuation is 1.25 trillion for SpaceX. So when do you think it's going to happen? Where's valuation? Where could this be going?
Yeah, I think then you are talking about what's the end game for Elon Musk for the AI competition, right? So we always believe that the end game would be a vertical integration, which Elon Musk have been doing in every one of his businesses, right? So for AI, I think SpaceX together with XAI would be great, given they have the capability of building the data centers themselves. They have the capability of building the chips themselves. They have their latest venture in chips, and they have the ability to vertically integrate a lot of the applications themselves. You probably have already seen the news that XAI got the option to buy Cursor, which is another like AI startup competing with Cloud Code. Yeah, so all of those lead us to, what's the fair value of SpaceX and, XAI together. I believe like, 1.5, 1.75 is, is just what the market sees them today. But we truly believe the potential of, using this technology not only in our daily life, but actually empower the whole human race to, to be multi-planetary species, which, the AI models is going to accelerate the, material discovery, which will benefit like SpaceX operation efficiency, and AI robots that built by Elon Musk is going to be, colonize the Mars eventually. Right. So I think those upsides are not fully understood by the market yet, but it will be realized in a path forward.
Yeah, it's certainly a multi-trillion dollar, I think, valuation project here, right? So if we're talking about
Yeah.
Apple, 4 trillion, they've done a great job with phones changing our lives. Now we're talking about a company that is working on multiple dimensions, not just on Earth, but also in space. Are you can you discuss any other companies you're thinking of adding to the portfolio that are private? Do you think they'll be added in the short term, or is that classified as well?
Yeah. We can briefly mention some, directions, of course. I
Yeah.
think one direction is, which we believe very much believe in, is self-driving, because like it has been 10 years since Waymo of the world, where Tesla have been trying self-driving, and it's finally here. If you travel to San Francisco, you could see Waymo cars, running around everywhere more than the taxis already. right? So people take Waymo cars to whatever place they want to go. And you could see Tesla car owners use that FSD to drive on the highway, on the, on the neighborhood, in the neighborhood. I think the technology has already matured, and self-driving cars will be a different breed comparing with traditional cars, and it will be a massive industry down the road as well. So we are adding, one private company that are dedicating themselves in the self-driving, venture, and they are working very closely with Uber, and hopefully, their car will be 10x growth or 100x growth down the road. So I
Uh,
think, yeah.
for local investors here, we see some of these cars running around Dubai and Abu Dhabi and collaboration with Uber, and that's WeRide. So I'm not sure if I exposed your new
No,
allocation or not, but
yeah.
we see
Yeah,
some of
but like similar model, right? So the problem of Waymo of the world is because they are too like CapEx heavy, right? So you have to build a car yourself. You have build a self-driving systems. You have to own the operation. You have to do everything, which makes you really really heavy. That you are always raising capital to satisfy thirst for capital and CapEx. But
yeah.
you see, you identify another model that you could be a self-driving company and you could work together with Uber and some OEMs, right? So OEM produce the cars, sells cars, and Uber in charge of the operation, and your self-driving company in charge of the algorithm and providing the self-driving services. That's a much, capital-friendly structure that will be generating a lot of returns for the shareholders, we believe, right? So Uber is not only partnering the WeRide in MENA countries, but also partnering some players in the United States, and eventually you could consider some companies. The relationship between some companies and Uber is like a CoreWeave to NVIDIA. Right, so NVIDIA is welcoming a lot of partnerships, but they consider some of the partnerships extremely dear to them and strategically very important to them, right? So I think that's the value that we are going to capture.
Amazing. So let me ask you a last question before we wrap up here, and thank you so much for joining. Is Claude going to destroy the software companies from Anthropic?
Uh, Yeah, the short answer is no. The short answer is no, right? So, like I said, you could categorize the software companies into different basket. One basket is point solution. For those, the answer is yes, right? So for DocuSign of the world, if you are offering DocuSign services, and then Cloud can one shot prompt that software for you. But if you are talking about highly like sophisticated, horizontally integrated, like software
Salesforce,
companies, Salesforce of the world,
yeah,
Workday, those
Workday.
guys. I mean, it's extremely difficult for cloud to disrupt because it's not only about the software, it's about the infrastructure, it's about the data, and also the workflow.
So yeah, that could be another trade that developed over the
Yes.
past
Yeah.
few months where we saw software companies go down. Cool, Max. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Always a
Thank you.
great, having you and speaking with you on the AI space. Guys, thank you for joining. So this is the fund that is available now on the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange through CraneShares. You guys are familiar with CraneShares? It's a major ETF company based out of New York. 12, 13 billion assets focused on China, climate, and now a lot of cool stuff through AGIX, which is AI, and then KWIN, which is Sharia compliant, and they have other stuff on robotics, etc. And for us at Ocean, we're very focused on building the ETF industry here. So anything we can do with you to kind of promote ETFs locally, we want to bring them to list here. We want to see them trading more across the board. All ETFs are listed here in Saudi. Hopefully soon, we'll see. So Qatar, Kuwait. Kind of bring these ETFs to trade here rather than trade in the US and Europe. So I'll leave you with this. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Max.